You guys just gotta live with what I choose. What's up, guys? Thank you very much very quickly, Ascorbic Acid, for the 70-month resub on the Prime. Thank you so much. And to Micro for the 3-month resub as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Top left-hand side, our blue Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming will be Cure, taking on Kaisi Gaming's Solar in the bottom right corner of Romanticide to get this underway. I'm excited for Solar Cure. These guys always play some good stuff, some good fun. Always think it's a good time when these two get involved with each other, so yeah, excited to see how this turns out. I think this should be rather entertaining as we get ourselves off and away with this all. Just wait to see what exactly our builds are going to look like. Hatch Gas and Pool to start, and obviously no proxy nor anything. It is Romanticide, so nice large map to kick off this Terran versus Zerg matchup. Again, gotta say shout out to the players as well, guys. I know today's obviously turned into a long one, obviously not just for us casting, and we've obviously got a ways to go until we're done today. But for the players as well, so shout out to the players. They've been very patient, and nobody's been complaining, even when we've had... Some people have had like an hour plus downtime waiting for the next game, where usually it'd be like half an hour or something. It's just been a lot of long games today, and it's obviously compounded into a couple things. So just shout out to the players for grinding through the matches. I mean, kind of their fault for playing all the long games, so I mean, maybe I shouldn't be thanking them. Maybe I should be like, well, it's your guys' fault. I mean, I'm not really... I feel like I'm complaining that it's long games. I'm not complaining, just... As an organizer, I get a little bit stressed out because I'm like, oh my god, are we going to be able to cast it all? Oh my god, are the players okay? You know, I get a bit stressed out, so it's not really a bad thing. Long games are good. In fact, it's really good for viewership, as you guys can see. Thank you so much for taking us up to almost 3,000 views today. But just, yeah, for my inner organizer is like, is everything going to be alright? Oh, we're so far off schedule. I have a mini meltdown, so... Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we will be alright, guys. Just, if it sounds like I'm complaining, it's not me complaining. It's just me being like having some slight anxiety about it all. That's all. All right, Reaper is going through. We do have the 3CC set up from QS, so we're going to see a 3 command center opening. So nothing too wild about that just yet. Pretty much what we'd expect, I would say. Obviously, it's a pretty standard thing to be going for in general. So yeah, not really too crazy. Right off the bat there, as we do just see the Reaper gonna get the Creep Tumor. Always a really nice kill early game to get rid of that Creep Tumor. Makes life a lot easier. Well, not a lot easier, but it makes life a little bit more difficult for the Zerg for sure. So just one of those things where it just puts you into that little bit of a better setup than you were already in. It's just such a little thing that can go a long way, you know. So always fun to see that. And yeah, just nice to grab it as the Reaper comes up, looking for a little bit of further damage at the moment here. And it's going to come via the main base to honestly not really find too much of anything. As the few Zerglings will turn that Reaper away, and that Reaper has got to get the heck out of there. But good scouting information. He sees the gas count, he knows that there's not anything too aggressive coming, it's not a super fast lair. So he is very aware of at least there's no aggression coming his way. Now that doesn't necessarily tell him what the follow-up here is going to be, as drones are in trouble over here. Solar gonna take a bit of a roast, and 6 workers already going down, make that 7. And Cure is off to a very strong start, killing off some of those drones. I mean, that's a lot of workers going down very quickly. So yeah, that's actually a pretty big deal. That's a lot of workers that die so early in the game, and only losing 2 Hellions for it as well, especially really kind of buffers up your position as well. Just makes it that little bit better for you overall. Of course. 2 Hellions on the bottom side, trying to see if there's a way for them to sneak in, but answer is no, not really. Not really a good way in there at all. Well, that's okay then, as we'll just continue to fire around. We do have the Viking going to get deflected pretty quickly too, so not much to shout about with the poor old Viking. He gets turned around without issue. More than anything, we just kind of continue to wait for the next couple moments to see exactly how things will continue to turn out. Italians are still poised to try and make their way through. We are going to see melee upgrades from Solar, so in that regard, I wouldn't say anything too wild either, right? I mean, just melee upgrades, pretty standard. I just wanted to play Ling Bane. We do see 4 more drones going down, though, so with 4 more workers falling, again, just a little bit more damage dealt. Again, more damage you got to recuperate from his Solar, and that is, I mean, it adds up over time for sure. It definitely puts the pressure on Solar. It definitely doesn't feel good to be in this kind of scenario where you're just taking hit after hit, but, well, that's unfortunately at times just ZvT, and needs to maybe try and find a way to recover from that if he can. Alien's still around the bottom side. Gonna go to move through here. I'm gonna get rid of a little bit of creep spread to begin with. So already a bit of creep going down. And as that little bit of creep falls, Hellions do begin to escape away. Yeah, I mean, just controlling the game well here, right? Denying creep, slowing Solar down here and there, and all these little things that do add up over time. Actually, just getting a lot of creep spread here as well, actually. That's obviously a pretty big deal, being able to clean out all of that creep. Generally puts you into a nice little spot as the Hellions do turn back around. They're going to kind of pull up to the top. So we'll not really see too much at the end. 1-1 upgrades and combat shield will continue in. As our Ling Bane will continue through. Again, it is just looking to be pretty much pure Ling Bane here as well. So in that regard, just not really teching up, just the 5 gases. Kind of surprised not to maybe see a macro hatchery, but maybe Solar's just not been rich enough to add one of those on with how the game's gone so far, so that could be the explanation on that one. Those few Hellions just turn around another few Zerglings, and on top of all that, just going to be seeing our Baneling Nest getting that Baneling speed. Of course, one of the things here is that you did open double upgrades, so you have much better upgrades than you usually would in this ZvT. Usually ZvT, you don't get double upgrades as early nowadays. This is like more of an old school thing, right? You used to go double Evo Champion right away, but with all the different builds that can happen nowadays, it's just a bit too risky. You're a little bit too open to attack, and you're just a little bit in danger, but against a 3cc, you can absolutely get away with it. It's just all of these kind of 2-on-1 timings and 2 base setups, and, you know, just hellbat builds. Double upgrades do not help at all against any of that, so we have seen a much, you know, preferred setup into, like, flare builds and stuff like that. That's obviously not being the case here, so a little bit of a cool bit of insight there. As our Marines are going to stim, and our Hellions are going to try and take the charge. You see Queen's taking a bit of damage, Lings and Banes coming through. Once again, this drop is being pretty well handled across the board. It ends up just pulling away to the side. And we'll wait for its next opportunity to strike again. You can see the lurk den is on the way down, by the way, and the hive building up too, and a few more banelings coming out. We do have across the map our drop coming back in, and these Marines trying to get forward, trying to get these couple of overlords. So trying to make plays on all of this. We do see our Ling Bane coming through, just to try and defend. So you're just going to be seeing a few Marines having to pull back a little bit. Solar, he's flowing a bit of money right now. He hasn't quite got the lava to build purely Ling Bane, and that's kind of one of the things. I mentioned no macro hatch initially, and that might be kind of part of it. He's building one in the main base now, but like I said, that's kind of meant to be there that little bit sooner. If that's not up by 6:37 minutes, then you're kind of like, And like I said, it was a weird start to the game, so maybe it was, you know, something more to do with that, and absolutely probably was. But you're gonna, you know, kind of seeing the repercussions of that now. Obviously, he is making his way into lurkers, so lava will be less of a problem. Did Kyo just straight up forget to build just 2-2, though? I mean, he's got an armor, he still didn't start 2-2. Now Solar's going to have an entire upgrade lead. That doesn't really happen in ZvT. That is going to be a pretty monumental difference here, as that's something which can really just change the way that a game plays in its entirety. So, Solar the one with the upgrade lead, and we'll see if we can fight back against that as Kyo. It's going to be tough. I mean, 2-2 on the way in right now, but it only just started. It's going to be a while, and honestly, I mean, Hive is done. We could even see 3-3 start up from the Zerg as well. Bit of Marine medevac on the top still, but obviously a drop down here too. Man, if the upgrades were here, I actually think the game might end with this kind of multi-prong, but just being able to trade that a little bit better might help to keep Solar alive, where usually he would not be. I mean, now Lurkers are up, of course, and that's a game changer as well. Game plays completely differently once Lurkers are in the game. So that is something else to keep in mind as dropping the main had to lift up and get out of there once again. Don't mind going off, connecting a little bit. Viper's coming through and trying to consume up that lair. There's medevacs we're forgotten about, though. Left to kind of die. Oops, sorry, I clicked away from the Widow Mine. It got 0 kills, though, so nothing of value. As, oh no, the Widow Mine's all stacked up. Q wasn't quite ready for that fight. And that's a shame, losing so much of his splash damage so quickly. It's rather expensive. Another round of creep spread coming up at the moment. Just pushing up. That's one of the big things that Q obviously has the creep spread pretty well held back at the moment. As this happens, he's going to start taking command centers all around the map as well. So he's racking up for a late game, guys. He's readying up for the later game. I feel like we've been there today. Just a couple of times, maybe. Marines are moving to the right, going to pull back a little bit. Lings are going to get hit by this Plandry. Some Banes as well. Might get the fresh mules. Is that enough to actually kill the Plandry? I think the Plandry keeps itself alive here. One mule still repairing, keeping it going. Plandry lives. Drop over here does go down. Parasitic Bomb helping. These Widow Mines want to split up a bit before they burrow, and that is exactly what you want. Yes! Yes! Look at those shots. That's going to help a lot more for Cure. Is that my inner Terra screaming? Zerg units are dying, let's go! We do see these Lings, though, chasing in, and this is actually not good at all, because now we really are in some trouble. Solar is just falling apart in multiple angles, and for the first time in a while, his supply does properly drop down off all of this, rather than just maybe kind of, you know, usually the supply is staying the same. Now Solar's supply really did drop off just for a few moments there. High army out to the center, reinforcements. I mean, Solar doing a great job of surviving, because honestly, that's the aim of the game right now. Survive. Hope you live long enough to get up to another base or so, and then maybe you'll find some opportunities, maybe you'll find some fights. And like I say, he's done a good job of it so far. He really did just need to sit back, defend, 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 and he has been doing exactly that. Big Bioforce going to hit the top right corner, so that's a cancel. Oh, Lurkers that just unburned. Trying to figure out where they want to go next. Just going to be seeing our Langbane Hydra moving through the bottom side as we are going to go in towards this group of units. Widow Mine goes off just on the Overseer. I mean, obviously, again, those Lurkers are trouble, but we do have Goats out at least, so we are getting to a response that can deal with the Lurkers properly. So Kira actually has an answer to that. But like I say, it slows down Kira a lot, right? And it gives Solar now the chance to really maybe actually take some better fights and just to have set up better himself. Oh, we're back to nuking, apparently. So nuking max packs wasn't enough for Kira. He wants to nuke Solar out of this game as well. So we're just going to nuke all over the place once more. First nuke coming down. As you're all going to see bottom side. A nuke lining up, but this army actually pushing here as well. If he could bait these Lurkers into the nuke by fighting here, that would be amazing. But I think Solar is very aware, actually, of what is in fact going on. Lands. Lurkers push forward a bit. Tanks doing what they can, and some Blind Clads helping out. These Ghosts are cloaked to the top side, so the Lurkers are just dying to the cloaked Ghost. No detection available. Uh-oh, that's a bit awkward, of course, as you see. Otherwise, those Lurkers doing okay across the map. There's a counterattack. The Plandry will live, though, if only just. And that's units committed in, but not actually getting the damage necessary done. That sucks a little bit, honestly. Lings will swarm in to deal with this. Solar has so much money. Lava is a problem yet again. Not got the lava needed to make this work out. I see another nuke trying to line up over here. Just gonna see the Bioforce coming around the top. It's still coming through. It's gonna be seen our army Akira still looking decent. Akira's army is just very sizable, and even as Solo starts to spend a bit of his money, get some lava up, Akira's just all over the place too. As mentioned, Solo really did do a very good job, I think, of pushing himself into some better positions and surviving long enough to get these bases up. But he's just not been successful in denying any of these bases Akira a single time, and obviously that's a major dynamic in ZvT. Usually these bases get denied over Terran, and that's why you can afford to trade inefficiently, which is what's happening here. Obviously, that's just not the case at all this time. A full medevac there went down, but multiple lurkers getting blasted by tanks. We will jump on this army topside, though, so Kira gets chased away. We'll save a few ghosts, at least. Yeah, but this base went down. Again, Kira still has great mining, and he will just bounce back from this trade without an issue. And again, that is Solar's biggest problem. He cannot really do much about that. The lurkers go for a big bust through here. They are going to get through the tanks, which will be the major point of defense. Oh, wow. Did all of these tanks just spawn? Talk about a fantastic time to reinforce, huh? At least these two, I think, just spawned. This one on the left side might not have. It might have, though. I didn't quite get to see it on camera, probably. But what a time to get a round of tank reinforcements popping out, ready to save the day. Oh, my goodness. This Viper just ran into this army as well. A sniper's lined up on it. And of course, just go down too. 13 SCVs go down at least, so finally Solar finding some damage to the economy of Kua. Unfortunately, that economy damage is just a little bit too late. It was kind of necessary a lot longer ago. As one single lurker over here is currently having a good time. Well, the other one already went down, but yeah, this one's still hitting the planetary at least, so may cause a distraction, but it's not an immediate thing you need to deal with either as Kua. Well, Solar, I mean, nice that he got across the map. Because that's something he was struggling to do for a long time. So great that he was finally able to make that happen, but... yeah, I mean, you do have this group of Lings out into the middle. Rifle's going through. Just gonna see this Bio still kind of jumping into the top right-hand side as well. We see a couple of tanks flying away, some lurkers taking hits. You're going to get rid of this hatchery in the top right-hand side as well. It's just going to pick that off, clean that out. Double nuke on the way up right now. Just going to be seeing the Lingbane lurker still coming through. The +3 carapace upgrade coming through too. So all of this setting up. This few Marines going to get rid of a couple drones. Nice to get rid of those nice and quickly, of course. Still seeing these nukes on the way out. And again, our Lingbane lurker forces moving back over the left-hand side. Solar just does not have a maxed army. He has not got a bank. That is the problem he faces, that he just needs to find insane efficiency with whichever move he makes. And that's just not really what the Zerg army is meant to do. You can deny this base, but Kira also just has money in the bank and other bases that for now you can fall back to as well. And this is everything more or less that Solar sent in this direction, just dead. So, like I say, it comes at a cost, and it's a cost which I don't think Solar can truly afford. But I get it, you know, you feel like you got to do something here. It makes a lot of sense. And he's just trying to do that something, just obviously not necessarily going exactly the way he wants it to. Bio going to push up this ramp. I mean, this is just Ling Lurker, which I don't think there's enough of. I think you can actually... okay, the Lurker's got 400 forward, so you force the Bio back. I thought he might be able to spread and just fight this, but And maybe we can just needed to kind of take a while about it, which is kind of what's happening, right? Although we're kind of walking into lurkers a bit too much as well. There is also a push on the top coming through from Cure, so this attack over here. I don't know, I mean, he knows this space isn't here. He's got a Widow Mine there, but able to move around and, again, just be active in multiple places at the moment. A Widow Mine. Oh, did it unburrow? Damn, that was a bad time for the camera I was stealing to click away. Like I say, credit to Solar. Been to this many bases I don't think was ever really initially meant to happen. As Kira gets a GG out of him, and Solar just knows he's not able to build enough up. Kira goes up 1-0. Okay, I'm a little bit early for the load on the screen, I admit. Lambo could still 4-0. He could, that's true. Obviously, if Kyo wins this, Lambo would be the final player you have to play. Very possible. Definitely set up well, though. Better than anyone else right now, at least. As in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran looking amazing. Is Kyo. Bottom right-hand corner from Kaiser Gaming, Solar. With any recent games from Reno? Reno has been on holiday since DreamHack, so no, he's not played anything lately. It goes down in the net. It's gonna be seen now. Max is gonna be finishing up soon again. Hatch gas and spawning pool all on the way from Solar here. Yeah, Rain was still on vacation. He's been away for a little while. He's taking a long one. I actually asked him about playing this event. I was like, "Yo, are you back home yet?" He's like, "No, I'm still in the mountains, mate." I was like, "How long have you been in the mountains for?" An actual eternity at this stage. Yeah, he was actually, like I said, apparently his vacation lined up, so he was actually away for his for the playoffs of the DreamHack Masters, which is why he didn't even make the season final. I mean, is it why? I mean, it's tough to say that exactly, but he didn't make the season finals, and I think that's something you could obviously point to as being part of the reason, perhaps, of course. Maybe doing all right, picking away at some of these lings. Gets the first kill, and was thinking about, like, hey, can I kill a drone here? I was on his way to it, but now the drones might go back the other side. Doing a good job of this. People hopping down, hopping up. Moving around a little bit. Lings coming through. Grenade goes down, bops the queen back slightly. It's going to be seen how Hellions continue to produce here. Starport on the way up, CC coming through. I mean, game is pretty standard with our third CC especially. Just early once again, so Kira really sticking to that style that he used last game, and to be fair, I don't really blame him. We'll rewind on that last game a little bit, though. Remember that you got to remember that, Solar started last game losing 7 drones to just 2 Hellions. He did not have a good early game at all. And as I said, he was still able to drag it out and draw it out to that later stage game and to make a game of it. I think that you got to give some, put some credit of that to Solar, because that was not an easy thing to do against someone who is as good as Kua. It was not easy to do at all, in fact. So I got to say credit to and shout out to Solar, because it actually, to me, gives me a bit of hope for this next game now, this game 2, because it says, hey, well, you did so bad with, you did so well, with the bad early game. If you have a better early game, how well will you be able to do? And obviously, momentum is such a big factor in the TVZ matchup that, yeah, this game could very easily look very, very different. It already does. Cloak Banshee's going to be the opening. And while you go Cloak Banshees on one side, you actually go for the Lair first on the other. So no double Evolution Chamber opening either. And the Lair first here is great because it means you get Overseers to help against the Banshees. So you're not just reliant on Spore Crawler detection, which obviously is not very mobile. So you are actually going to have a good set of answers against those Banshees. And you're going to have the Bane Speed starting quickly still if you want it. And obviously the upgrades just come a bit further down the line. With a Lair this quick, you generally are also looking toward a Spire or a Hydra. And generally, if it's a faster Lair like this and you're going to tech it, it's going to be a Spire. And he does double Evo Chamber right now, but you can see the gas building up. He'll have gas for upgrades and a tech structure if he wants it, which I imagine he will. It's not the greatest map for just purling Bane because you don't have a lot of attack pathways you can use. You're very limited in the amount of pathways you can kind of work on, so got to be a little bit cautious with that. So yeah, I wouldn't like to see just Ling Bane here, just again less counterattacks than usual, etc. So we'll see though. We will see. Lair is done. We're waiting to see the first bits and pieces coming out of this Lair. As the Banshees have not really found much. The Hellions get a creep tumor, but that will be all. That's how the game continues to settle down for the moment. Hellions all the way back over the left-hand side as the Banshee's going to get rid of a couple creep tumors. And just going to be seeing our Lings still hanging around on the right. Hold on, upgrades coming through, Stimpak coming through. Just going to be seeing our Baneling speed coming up alongside the melee upgrades as well. As our Hellions look as though they were thinking about running by, then we're like, well, the Lings are kind of getting here, maybe just a good time to turn it around and back it up anyway. Really focusing on creep spread denial. Just saying, if I can get rid of the active tumors, if I can keep your creep back, I am going to be able to put a lot of pressure on this map with the push potential on Blackburn being able to push through that bottom half of the map and just go from left to right very easily. And with less creep, obviously, that just becomes even easier to do. And it feels like that is exactly what Kira is set up for more than anything. I'm genuinely surprised with seeing Pureling Bane here. I do think this will be a Hydra Den in a little while, though. I would imagine that will come through. That's annoying as well, trying to mine off your gold base and there's just Hellions behind it. This is one of those things about just, again, a bit of map control. Maybe you deny the creeps so the Hellions can be here more easily and, under less pressure, etc. It's one of those things that definitely adds up over time. 8 drones have gone down as Kua has been finding a fantastic bit of damage thus far. Has been able to do very well with that, as we will see some additional depots being placed out the front. And just again, the Hellions staying very active here. 9 drones being cleared out. He's actually moved a few into Hellbats. I'm very intrigued. I mean, I guess he wants to try and tank some of these Banelings and then also keep the mobility. I don't know what the logic was there. In my head, I could kind of see, I was like, well, you kind of use the Hellbats to tank, and then the Hellions can kite a bit more against the Lings. So maybe like the Hellbats versus Banes, Hellions versus Lings. But either way, there was just way too much Zerg there for the Hellions to fight in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it was just a numbers difference more than what they were at the end of the day. As these Marines come through and a lot of creep going down, Ling Bane wanting to come forward as well. Marines will load back into the medevacs. And Ling Bane will Still does hang around on the top side. 2-2 coming through on either side of this. CC coming in, drilling claws setting up. That's about halfway done. A few widow mines are still coming out as well at the moment, so a lot is setting up right now. We're not going to push forward, and a few of these creep teamers going down. The Ling Bane still coming forward. Widow mines, hit a lot of the Marines initially, so the Marines taking some damage at first. So that does hurt, as we are going to be seeing the Ling Bane getting set up once again. Okay, well, Cure actually is going to be a little bit lower on the supply for once, and he's probably going to have to start playing the longer game here, because you can see in the production tab that look, then that hive is coming through. So again, to that point at which solo does become that much more powerful, and it becomes much more difficult to just be the aggressor on the map all the time. You typically have to be the guy sitting back a little bit more and getting those ghosts out, etc. A little bit of Ling Bane versus Bio here. We'll see some Widow Mines not really doing too much either. And that is going to be a diffused situation, at least. Nothing else to come out of that for the moment. As you get back on the rocks, though, as our Marines and our Widow Mines continue through, and they're going to actually be able to blow up a couple of these mines. The Lings are going to commit. Banes. Well, Banes might get hit by the Widow Mines, but mostly just chase down some of the Lings that initially ran on through there, so reasonable in that regard. As you do see the Ling Bane Hydra pulling back over the right-hand side. Marine Widow Mine gonna go pushing across. A couple of Banes get taken down. Widow Mines are gonna burrow up with speed. Widow Mines going off and doing pretty well. These other Banelings continue to take some shots, continue to take some damage. You will chase this down. Down about 20 supply. I mean, in a good enough spot, I think, to keep this all going. Look, as in the Viper's still producing out as well. It's just all of this being brought in with our +1 missiles, adrenal glands, seismic spines, all on the way out. Ling Bane still going through. Widow Mines getting active, but honestly not doing too much crazy just yet. Plus Lurkers coming in, and that's still something I'm kind of worried about, I suppose, because there is not a Ghost Academy. We do not have a later game tech setup ready to go just yet still. Well, you have the Lurkers moving down here and killed in that position. Top left, a big run by that might be able to move through. I was going to try and run through there, but I feel like that's a bit too much of a block. Don't think that's going to be having too much happen. Because Burrow, once again, that Widow Mine is shot down. So Widow Mine going down already. Ghost Academy still coming through. I wonder if you attacked a bit too late here. I wonder if it's going to be okay. Because obviously, like I said, the Ghost Academy maybe could have been sooner, but if he can defend this attack, then it's probably not so bad. He's still going to have it up at a reasonable time. Top right attack is obviously doing some serious stuff right now. But actually a lot of work as 12 drones going down. Now lifts up, hops to the other side. We've all seen this dance before. We know how annoying this can be to deal with. As these medevacs spending some healing. And without the surround, the Lings actually do not trade well. Obviously we're just going to go back to the other side again. Just being as annoying as freaking possible here. Being really, really annoying as our Bio Army will continue to fight. I mean, the Queen's putting some damage in. The Lings continue to go through. The Marine Marauder does lift back up. Oh, look where it's gone. The other side again. So I was really not dealing with this well. Obviously, Hydras can provide some anti-air, but there's just none around. The Queens go down. Oh, God. Why is it still happening? Why won't it stop? Wow, this was really annoying. It actually buys you so much time as Q, where Solo's just messing around with this And so you've got so much time to get those first ghosts on the map down to make this next stage of the fights a little easier for you, that little bit better off in total. Force off on the left side as well. You're going to see a couple of Niduses are building from Solus. Again, those two Nidus networks up and running. We're not going to go into the main base. We kill the Overseer, and we're on top of the Nidus is fast enough that there shouldn't really be a problem, but it's something to think about in the future as well. Whoa, he actually left that Nidus alive. Not a lot left on it, in all honesty. That Nidus is actually going to finish up. Oh my god. Kira's going to be hating himself right now. There's no reason to let this Nidus finish up at all. Those Marines just ran away. And two more Niduses, so yeah, this is a problem, because now your main base is sieged up by lurkers. That was a, that was kind of a weird one. Yeah, just obviously busy elsewhere. I was thinking about something else. He's going to lose Cloak on the Ghost. He was waiting for a scan here. Oh, as he scans, the lurkers just disappear. They just jump up and jump into the Nidus. So at least the Ghost Academy stays alive for now. That's something at least. We do see a lot of Lingbane Hydra around the top side. Now some lurkers around the back of this gold base at the moment. And as in we go, the Bio Army having to keep on kiting back the Planetary. Yeah, it's going to help out a little bit. Those Banes going down. Can you save the Planetary? No. So the gold base dies. 21 SCVs die. We at least trade out a good chunk of army as Solo to be able to do that. And once again, resources lost is ticking over towards the Terran's favor. That's fine. That's normal. And that's why. Because bases like this are meant to be denied. You're meant to slow the Terran from mining out their side of the map. Just don't know how easy that will end up being on a map like Blackburn. Nuke is on the way. Tanks coming through. Marine Marauder still building. Nice to catch these lurkers as well. It's just getting rid of a few of those. Solar has a hell of a bank, though. It's one thing to keep in mind that throughout this game, obviously Solar has been just mining a lot more. In general, has been pretty good and has been a little bit more free in terms of what he can do. Because Kira has not always been the aggressor. He's not always been the player on top of Solar's base. He has been for a while. It's not being a permanent thing necessarily, as Bio will push through the bottom side of this here. Lingbane starts moving forward. Parasitic bombs are going off. They are going to be seeing a tank sitting behind those slow zones, able to turn the Lingbane away. Nukes are going to get lined up around the map. Another nuke already lined up down here, one up top. There's a Nidus coming up over here as well to get more units behind the gold base. Nuke lands, creep goes down, and the Spore Crawlers take some hits. These tanks will keep on pressing forward as our lurkers do come in and just going to kill off the siege tank as well. Just going to see these couple of SCVs continue to go down too. So SCVs dropping. Here we go. The Lingbane lurker continuing forwards. Tanks in some trouble perhaps. We're all going to be seeing a lot of units being cleared out. 11, 12 workers going down. The counterattacks are still continuing, but this push from Kira is terrifyingly strong, especially with all of these ghosts able to snipe, etc. And there is really only lurkers here. I mean, they're kind of protecting themselves for the moment, so they will hold their own for now. Ghosts and tanks looking like they want to try and keep on moving through here towards the front as well. That one tank gonna siege up. I believe that's Nidus in the back denied. Just Nidus is everywhere being shot down by tanks now, so just leaving a tank here and there is making the world of difference. Kira has this very strong position set up, and he is trying to use as best he can. Big attack back across to the other side. Those couple of Niduses will be continuing through. Looks as though they will be able to get up. I mean, this is going to get awkward because I liked where Kira was, but Solo just says, well, I don't like where you are, so I'm going to dislodge you by forcing you to come home. And I can reinforce here too if I need to. Now, the one thing about this is obviously a lot of workers and a lot of units will go down initially for Cure, but over time, he will kill a lot of the Zerg as well. If we go back to resources lost again, it's still that 8,000-ish difference. And Cure is mining off of every base on his side of the map. The only difference will be is that Solar is now on the 12 o'clock base. And that's a base which is very important, because obviously that's the base that you'll have over your opponents. Some snipes coming down, drones getting picked off. We do have Vikings still hanging around the sky. Some group spread being cleared out in the center as well. Bio Army is trying to get through that hatchery. A couple Nidus is coming up again. Actually, he doesn't see that one on the natural. I think he does. He's just not realizing it or whatever. He's got units up in the high ground. And now he sees them. He's going to siege up the tanks, and he is just going to... Maybe he kind of wanted them to come in. It's not going to cost him much, and he's actually going to get some kills. It sounds crazy, but it's actually not too unrealistic of an idea. Solar crashes through across the map. I tell you what the issue will be is that Solar just has so much more money still. Maxed out with money to spare. That topside base mining definitely helps him. This income graph all game has been helping him. Despite the resources lost, it's enough to make up for that and more. As you can see, he's maxed and he has money to spend as mentioned. We're sniping overseers right now. The point of the game we've got to is, yes, we'll go for a snipe against everything. To be fair, all of it costs money to rebuild. You may as well kill it off if you can. Space goes down too. Cure really doesn't have economy left. Solar has slowly but surely broken him down here, there, and everywhere to make sure he gets to this point where no eco remains and we get tied up 1-1. Welcome back, everybody, as we go into Cure versus Solar, game number 3 of the series. Tied up 1-1. WardiTV Summer Championship Group B, and, well, in the bottom right it is Solar, in the top left is Cure. What a day today has been. To put it into perspective, guys, we are 5 hours into the stream right now. Yesterday's stream was about 5 hours, 5.5-ish hours, I believe. I was going to quickly double check just to tell my story exactly correctly. You know, I don't want to tell any lies. Yesterday we streamed for... Yesterday we streamed for 5 hours and 45 minutes. So yesterday in 5 hours and 45 minutes we covered 10 best of 3s. Today in 5 hours we have covered nearly 5 best of 3s. That is kind of what today has been about. Yesterday we had some faster games, sure. Today faster games do not exist. I'm excited, guys. I feel like we've obviously got games to cast after this, too. I'm excited to see what the heck happened in the games that were happening off-stream. So, yeah, loads going on. Loads still to come today as we continue through the WardiTV Summer Championship. Of course, we're back. Just a quick reminder, tomorrow and Sunday as well for more groups. Group C tomorrow, Rogue, Showtime, Spirit, Euthermal, and Zest. And Group D on Sunday, Bunny, Classic, Laser, Hero, and Marine Lord. If any of those take your fancy. But yes, we do have more today as well. We'll start to work through our other matches as we finish this one up. Let's see if you're out into the center. Going to be having our early game. Reaper across the map is going to get a drone. Sorry, I was just fixing something on the other screen. So the early game Reaper gets itself a drone kill. Ain't a bad start for a little old Reaper. Not bad at all. Can't complain about that one. So yeah, Reaper has a good start. That's nice to see. Have the Queen coming through and putting some pressure on. What is obviously different this time around from Cure is he's gone to the starport faster. He went double gas rather than the 3cc, so that's going to be the difference from him this time around. That's how this will go a bit differently, as we do see a grenade and bopping the queen around. Not a couple of the queens still trying to fight there. So yeah, one thing to note is that aggression should pile up a little bit. He won't have as much eco. And it's going to be a faster Cloak Banshee than last time too. You know, last time we went Cloak Banshees, we never really saw much of them. Not a lot happened with them. As 2 Hellions and the Reaper will make their way around just into the center. So, a couple of Hellions and the Reaper into the center, 2 more Hellions joining. I mean, again, a lot of this just building up for those nice quick Banshees and to see if Solo's going to be prepared with those Spore Rollers in time. So those Hellions in the center, and Overlord going to try and break through into the main base, where obviously just wants information. Getting to see that Banshee cloak on the way is obviously always a good thing to spot. Meanwhile, the Hellions are already across over here, putting on some pressure and trying to deal a little bit of damage. So Hellions putting some damage out there, putting some pressure in. And we do just see them now backing away up through the center of the map. So again, just looping around. As the Banshees come online and the stim pack gets going, we are really just waiting to see if the Banshees can do much. First one, she gets cloaked. Gets a few shots on the Queen before it gets back to Spore Crawler territory. Cure, pay attention to your Banshee! That is a very fortunate Banshee. I might just want to go home and repair. It is 1-2 hits from death. It is just not worth keeping it there for that long. It is not worth it at all, as Hellions trying to come around the side. And there's the other Banshee. So yeah, let's see it. Looks like he's going to take it home. Like I say, it just isn't really worth it to fly in, take a shot or two, and it's like, boom, you're dead. It's like, oh, I don't want to be dead. Well, you should have gone home and repaired. So he will go home and repair that Banshee. Keep that alive. Third CC is now coming up, and we do see extra gases being set up as well. With our stim coming through and our engineering bay is working the 1-1. That's going to be Cure still on an upgrade lead by a little bit. Carapace starts from Solar. He went double Evo himself post-lair, so has that Baneling speed initially, and then we'll have the double upgrades behind it. Obviously, because Cure didn't play super greedy this game, his double upgrades are not that far, far ahead, even despite all the rest of what I've just discussed. Queen's getting there, and the Hellions do get turned around. Banshee's out down to the south again in a few lings. Looking for a wraparound on a set of rocks, so looking to deal some damage there as the Hellions come through and picking away some creep. One thing throughout this series I feel like from Cure that's been pretty nice is that he's been very focused on denying creep spread. You know, there's always been a fairly reasonable amount of creep spread denial. That's been one thing I think I've really noticed, that he's just had that as a priority pretty much throughout. Hellions here pushing through, getting a couple of creep tumors and stuff. Now the Marine's showing up as well. It's going to be a fun few moments because we are going to be on Bane speed, so the Banes are going to be quick, but there is definitely only so many. Maybe can even still fight this as Cure. Let's find out. He's got the Banshees in the main base, by the way, at the same time, so they're being annoying and keeping units off of this side of the mineral line. And meanwhile, there's obviously other army is trying to set up the fight over here, so in we go. The Banes are rolling through, starting to connect a little bit. Only one Baneling left, and the siege tank is actually going to get one more shot off on the Lings. Softening them up is actually a big deal, because now those Lings are a little weaker and more easy for these easier for these Marines to stick around. The Banshees are going to come in from this right-hand side. They could have maybe intercepted those building Banes, but actually is going to get a few drones, which is not bad at all either. So the pressure from Cure has really done very well. I feel like he's done a very good job of this. Somehow those Banes don't connect as well, and those Marines are able to lift up to safety once more. Banshee's going to get a few more drones, 4 more workers going down, so a little bit more damage done. As you will see, our +2 carapace upgrade coming through as well. Infestation pit and a Hydralisk dam. Also continuing to build here. So obviously Solar has plans about the future of his game and about teching up and actually having a longer term game plan than just survive against the bio, which is always good. I mean, the game plan's been pretty much the same throughout games 1, 2, and 3, right? Survive the lurkers and kind of play with the lurkers from there. Obviously, game 1, you had to play way more defensively. Game 2, you was able to be more active, and you could definitely see the effect that had on the game. So can this tank get rid of a group of Banelings there? I feel like if he targeted that group of Banelings that was chasing the Marines, they might have gone down, and that might have cleared the way for those Marines to do a little better. They're still around, so you can't complain too much. Just wondering, right? It's one of those questions I guess we'll never have answered because, well, the moment's passed, and no one's going to load up the replay and recover the replay and play that out just to find out for us. Well, someone might, but usually they wouldn't. Maybe only because I made a big deal out of it. Anyways, Solar keeps on holding. It's what Solar has done so well throughout the entirety of this series. His defenses have really been, in the mid-game at least, really on point. Like, he's really been able to shield himself well from the damage that Kyo tries to put on him. He's been doing a very good job of that, I gotta say. As I do see another Ling getting picked off. Lurker Den is gonna be done soon. +2 carapace upgrade will be finishing shortly as well. Another round of Banelings just coming up, and just going to be seeing our Ling Bane force around the bottom side. These few Marines just trying to connect in. Just going to get up into the medevacs now, in fact. Let's see a few more of the Lings and Banes getting pushed around the upper right-hand side. So that's going to get pushed away. Another Zergling gets picked off. Oh, a little bit of indecision. These Banes kind of get mixed up a little bit. At least Kira's there quickly to pick them off, as there's still a few of them going to move back around the top side. We'll see if they end up getting a run-by off anywhere. Scary moment or two. Seismic Expander's on the way, not done yet. Viper's on the way, not done yet. And it just means that so much money being invested right now from Solar, sorry, is not actually in play to help you defend against Kira's army. So, scary couple moments, probably some of the scarier moments we're going to have in this. As these Marines come through, going to get a queen there probably. I mean, whoa. Solar just evacuates that topside base. I'm surprised by how quickly he just gave that up. I guess he just said he wanted to send everything down here, and he just knew instantly that it was just not worth keeping that base around. Okay, well, that's a 4th hatchery just dead. So we go back down to 5th hatchery maybe. So we go back down to 4 bases. Well, I mean, that's the amount of bases the Terran's about, to be honest. So I think you'll be kind of happy. Being equal base count with a Zerg is always generally good news. We all know what they say. Stay a base ahead of Zerg. A Zerg's meant to stay a base ahead of all the other races. They do a pretty good job of that usually. That's again because they trade inefficiently. It's the way the matchup works. You trade inefficiently, but you have more economy. That's going to be tough if you don't have the base count to sustain it. So it's kind of eyes over to Solar, who might have given up that base saying, right, I'll sacrifice this for now, but the moment I get lurkers, I'll be able to fight that back for that and do much better. So it might have just been like a momentary sacrifice to say, like, oh yeah, in this very moment, it's better for me to just not lose anything trying to defend that. Defend one side much better, and then I'll fight back again, like I say, with the lurkers up and running. Seismic Expanse is done. No adaptive towns, though, so these lurkers going to do a slow-mo burrow towards the tanks, which was actually kind of amusing. One single Bane, I think, up to the top side army is they are going to push down here again. Q split pushing across the map all of the time. Non-stop with these split pushes, right? He's always, in a couple different directions. He doesn't get the base, though. Oh, no, and he targeted for it as well. He lost some units trying to kill it. It went low, and then the transfusions obviously brought it right back up as Solar's like, no. Absolutely not. Marine's going to begin to unload on that right-hand side. Marine's up on this high ground of Kira, thinking about making a move down. Drone's doing down here already. If you cancel this base again, great, because again, if you can just keep him on 4 bases, that's generally already a win for you then as Kira. Marine's going through. A couple of queens in that bottom side are going to be picked away. Bane's coming through as well. Just going to be seeing the Ling Bane going for this. The Lurker's coming through. Just going to be seeing our tanks do get siege, but they go down pretty quickly when the units were already on top of them. This is just kind of medevacs over on the right. Solar keeps on defending, doing a very good job of defending as well. So you are going to move through to the top side. Ling Bane Lurker still moving up. That planetary fortress is going to turn around, fights onto a few of the Banelings. A few more Banes rolling in, going to crash into these Marines. Planetary will go down. No 4th base for the Terran anymore. And the new base as well, saved. Lings are going to kill it. Are they really? Maybe? No? Yes, they get it. Canceling the new base is massive because it means it's not just going to instantly come back up that fourth. It's going to be a while until it's back online. And that's a big, big deal, having that delayed by, you know, a significant amount of time, longer than it would have otherwise been. Marines are going to go pushing through, going to get on top of the creep spread here. I think it's going to get turned around pretty quickly, as we do just have, well, some other Banes finishing up. Queen's being picked away at. Big push down to the bottom side out of Cure. As we do have the couple of Banes going down, and again, there's a blinding cloud to push a whole bunch of everything back. Our bio army still splitting apart, still trying to see what can be done. Is going to try and trade this out in general. I mean, Sola's actually having a pretty bad fight. He's just about hanging in there, but he's not rebuilding very quickly, Sola. I wonder if he just lost a little bit too much on that left-hand side trade out, and if he'd done that... If he had done that, that actually might have been pretty... If he'd done that... If that's the case, I mean, that kind of sucks, because I feel like that attack was good. Yeah, I mean, that's the fine line you walk in the world of TVZ, as this hatchery will go down the bottom side. These lurkers will get burrowed up, and the bio just falls back a moment or two. Top side run by, dealt with already, just walks into the Marine Marauder that's looking to split push again. Cure, the split pusher, honestly, he has just been non-stop with two armies left, right, top, bottom. It's just been all series long. All of this TVZ has had the same sort of effect. You have Lingbane that's setting off to the side again. Some action down on the bottom side as these few Marines come through. The couple of lurkers going to be pushed back a little bit. Drone's taking some damage as well. There's a parasitic bomb that lands on this medevac. Red is going to see jumping a few of those drones already going down. There's actually quite a lot of drones that are going to go down as they roll back into this zone. That's not good for Solar right now, who is actually struggling along just a little bit. Army still chasing this down as well. These Banes have to go running. Lurkers going to be in some trouble too. More of these Banes fall and the Liberator falls. I mean, the Lurker fire definitely helped to kind of soften this up and give the Lings a bit of a better chance. This is all 3-3 against 2-2 though. The Terran army's got that upgrade lead and has had it for a couple trades now, so obviously one of those things that will continue to make these smaller skirmishes a little bit better for Terran, especially when it's just Lings trying to chase down like a Bioforce. Bottom side of the map, a couple units split away, some other lurkers get burrowed up as well. These few Lings do jump on top of that siege tank, taking that down, and the Bio army will move along to the right side. This is an action-packed TVZ, game number 3 of the series. They both know it's important for their run in this group. Any better seeding would be much appreciated as well, of course. Big rotation of this army of Soul around the top side. Down the right we go running though. Bioforce coming in, and Banshee connect on just a few Marines initially. Lurkers are gonna go down. Then the rest of the units get here. Now the Terran army is going to start going down as the tanks have done what they can. A blinding cloud helping out and make that a second, make that a third. Nope, this one's an abduct. That is going to be a cleanup as we just have our Marauder there picking away at a couple more Lings. And down to the south we go. Cure pushing for the 6 o'clock base right now. Lurkers burrow up, missing everything initially as, well, they're going to reposition it now. A tank goes down. We're going to spread out and try and fight 5 Lurkers. Brave choice. A bit more bio going to run in to help out with this as well. A few Lings from the other side trying to fight too. I mean, those Lurkers do end up going down. And Cure is just maintaining a slight supply advantage throughout this lately. He's just been staying that little bit ahead. Tell you what though, Cure's economy, I mean, he's got some SCVs oversaturated somewhere. Like, he is... Where is he actually mining from? I don't even know why he's got 60 SCVs. That's 30 of them. 45. Yeah, I guess they're just kind of oversaturated, but that's the thing, right? He's still stuck on the same base he's been working with almost all game long, pretty much, so that kind of hurts. I mean, Solar has had an extra base overcure, but he's been trading much worse, and that's why he's not necessarily just kind of overwhelming in this game. But we're still kind of walking that once again. I sort of call it a fine line, and it really is, because there's a very small difference between being the guy who has just traded better and kept that extra base up versus the guy who's just had that one bad fight and, you know, it just suddenly can't quite get the reinforcements needed up and running once again. 11 SCVs full is just going to see a couple of depots being picked away on the right side. A Liberator shows up, and I mean, this is just going to be a few more drones. Obviously, Solo again very distracted with other things on the map, so we lose a chunk of drones right away. But 16 SCVs went down, so it's not a small amount of Terran economy. That's just realistically, you could take 16 SCVs off this base and still kind of have the same amount of eco because, well, I mean, I'll still have the better eco because that base is so oversaturated right now. And Graph has actually gone to Solar's favor, sorry, Kira's favor a couple times in the last few moments. Around the top we go. These Lings are going to go running on in. I mean, just pure Ling's actually doing well right now as Solar's going to start breaking through here. And Kira is, I think Kira is genuinely at a point where he's running out of money, yeah. I was kind of insinuating it before, but I didn't know if I quite believed it. This idea of, like, it's a, you know, he's only on those same 4 bases, and all of a sudden you just saw how losing, or not having anything but those 4 bases came back to bite Kira. And Solar is able to pick up the win in the end. Crazy group. As Solar will take this win as well, and well, GG's. That was a wild one.